its history, in the earlier 1980 years, a committee of the Moriah Church was asked to evaluate Lawrence M. Yoder's historical records of the church before it was published in 1985 years in Indonesia. This led to heated discussion. Some members thought that events were not recounted exactly as they occurred. Others thought it impossible to present any event exactly as did it. And then I'll explain about the Conrad Grebel review. I didn't intend to report the discussion. Instead, I want to show the historical understanding held by those involved. It seems to me that some committee members understand history only as narrative of past events exactly as it did. This idea, it seems, is held by many in the church in Indonesia to relate an event exactly as it was impossible and even more so if such trueness was to be accepted by all. Assuming this, it is not surprising that only a few historical articles were published in the church magazine Muria. Thus, perceptions of history create difficulty in encouraging the writing of history in Indonesia. If history is not understood to be an imaginative reconstruction and critical analysis of long-term social change, the history of writing in Indonesia cannot progress.
It is imperative that the Japanese military church development survey be accompanied with the following questions. Where are the Japanese military churches from? The content of the section explained that the Dutch Mennonite mission bore activity results in the emergence of this church. In Christ's Arstono book about the ecumenical movement in Indonesia, which emphasized the role of the Dutch government as the midwife in giving birth to children of the ecumenical movement in Indonesia. If we look back at the history of Indonesia in the 19th and early 20th centuries, which focused on Dutch rule in Indonesia and paid less attention to local communities. However, the result in the 1960 said the emergence of historical writing with the nationalistic character, not regional historical writing, that paid attention to the cultural identity of the people. The dangers of writing a nationalistic history are the same as the old ones.
History of the Indonesian Church. Since the emergence of the East Asian Conference of Churches, which emphasized the original way of communicating the gospel, writing the story of the churches in Asia, including Indonesia, to reinforce the regional character has been promoted. This effort is seen in the Southeast Asian Graduate School of Theology, encouraging local language reading of church history. Among Indonesian historians, Taufik Abdullah has championed local history as a method of preaching history. He does not reject the universal character of history but seeks to show that every historical writing is colored by indigenous cultures and must be related to the particularities of society, namely their environment and culture. The universal character of history must include the specificities and context of society, otherwise it would be related to them at all. Reading the history of the Indonesian churches in traditional ways give primary attention to the denomination of a particular founding church and emphasizes the universal character of history. Will not help people to realize the interdependence of their lives with their environment.
Conrad review. In this case, the author tells from his small experiences writing wayang performance and from the author's own experience we call that people who have high positions are considered to be the highest and who are most involved in historical progress and those who are known are considered not to be prejudiced from the author's experience. The author reading a book from Clifford Greets about Japanese religion and cultural theory containing history should pay more attention to the telephones of institutions and the role of leaders, which was the footers developed by Sartono Kartodirjo, telling of the rebellion in Banten in 1808, which explained the importance of ordinary people in historical progress and is historical writing from all the writers criticizes him by likening himself to when he was a member of the Cruz Writers that after becoming a pastor the efforts writing in the Indonesian context must pay attention to the communal aspect of society, community action and community development. In this case, the role of the Cruz is an institution must else pay attention to the role of individual leaders.